Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
In this week's episode of the Kindness Project, we talk about transport, mythology, and we have part 2 of our interview with Jane Finnerty from Solla.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kindness Project. I'm joined by Hoodie Girl and Bald Boy. It's Charlotte and Russ. How we doing, guys?
And they are superhero names.
Yeah, they're the new. Although I can only get away with not calling myself Bald Boy if I look at my hair from certain angles, because clearly I am Bald Boy from certain angles. All right, you didn't have to agree so vociferously so quickly.
If you look at you from behind, it looks like you've got a skull cap on.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate that. First thing on a Monday morning. Really good stuff.
It's like a little drum up there.
But I think that's the reason it's bald, not male pattern baldness. I'm blaming the years, Charlotte, you tapped my head. That is a
drum up there.
Always somebody else to blame in there.
Well, I'm not playing a blame game, but it's Charlotte's fault. All right, that's all I'm saying.
I'll take that. It's funny.
That is all I'm saying. So, how was everybody's weekend? We are recording this on a Monday morning, which is unusual for the Kindness Project. How was everybody's weekend?
It was good, yeah.
I had a good weekend. Quiet.
What'd you get up to?
I watched some telly. I done some coding.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. That was my weekend.
That was it. That was the weekend. What did you get up to, Charlotte?
Went to my nan's.
You did. You had a weekend at your nan's, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you went from West to East Scotland. How was that?
The transport was a nightmare on the way there.
Right.
And the transport was fine on the way back. My second coach was like 20 minutes late, so it pushed my evening back.
I mean, that is a proper student way to travel by megabus, isn't it? Or insert bus style here, but like
the National Express, wasn't it?
I don't know whether I'm not sure how much the National Express does. I mean, when we went travelling around Europe, it was Lux, wasn't it, Charlotte? Flixbus.
I know.
Flixbus. No, there was a Lux as well. A Flix and a Lux. There was a Flixbus and a Luxbus.
I don't go travelling in Europe much.
No. What they use in your little village in Norfolk, right?
I don't get buses here.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
Get buses, but they just don't come.
The only place I can get a bus to London now is in Norwich, and that's a National Express.
Have you ever got a Flixbus or a Luzbus?
No.
Never got a Flixbus or a Luxbus?
When I'm travelling to back home, it's usually like a mega bus or something like that.
Mega bus. What a great name for a bus, though. Mega.
But
like, the new one does it for £1?
No.
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, that is cheap travel, isn't it? You can get somewhere for £1.
There was one used to go out of London for £1, wasn't there?
You know the thing I don't understand. Why, comparatively, if I'm looking to go somewhere, I'm looking at 3 ways to travel, right? So I'm looking at thinking more short haul or domestically, right? So I'm thinking if I'm travelling somewhere in the UK, I'm looking at the bus, the train, and flying as my 3 options, right? Mainly. And if there was no time or cost factor, I think my favourite way of travel is the train, right?
But the train's like so expensive.
I like the train.
See, I mean, for the journey down and up to you, if I'm not, I mean, clearly you can also jump in the car and drive somewhere, which
that's a long old. That's a long old trip up to Scotland, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the
Can
same.
be, yeah.
If the
Yeah.
coach is the same or longer.
But if I'm travelling via like public transport for whatever reason, I'm thinking plane, bus, train, right? And 9 times out of 10, even if it's domestic, I only travel via the train if there's no other option. If like literally, I'm looking at the train and saying that is my third choice. Number one, because of time, but also because it's cheaper to fly. Do you know what I mean? How did that happen?
Yeah, especially from where you are to where I am. Like,
I prefer
Flying
the
Scotland,
train.
Flying Scotland, I love.
I prefer the train to either of the others.
That's because you haven't been on a plane in 20 years, Russ.
I still prefer the train to either of the others.
But yeah, I think I prefer the train when I'm travelling to France because the Eurostar is decent value and really super quick and super easy to get from London to Paris. And you're there in the middle of Paris, like Gare du Nord is easy to get to the rest of Paris really simply. So I think for me, train has its place. But yeah, I think in the UK they could do so much more to make train travel better value, and they should. To be honest.
I mean, like, you know, the TFL's pretty decent, but like
the tubes are good.
But you get outside that area and it's like, oh, right, I'm paying £4 to go half hour up the road. Could have just got a bus.
Yeah,
but then you get outside the TFL zone, the bus prices go up exponentially as well. So it's like
you're all about the dollar, Charlotte, aren't you? All about the dollar. What's the tube like in Glasgow?
I
didn't go on the tube.
I don't use it. I've never used it. I don't need to. I can walk anywhere I need to go.
I actually got a tube in Glasgow.
Yeah, like an underground.
Oh.
I don't use it.
Sorry, are you saying Glasgow's not posh enough to have a tube, Russ? That's a bit offensive, mate.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's posh or not. I just didn't think they had a tube.
Yeah, Edinburgh hasn't got the tube, is it? It's got a tram, but yeah.
What's got a tram?
Edinburgh.
I wouldn't know.
I don't know.
Oh, what's the greatest city in the world got, Russ? Has it got a tube? Has it got a tube?
It's got walking room. They got extra wide paths.
Right, hold on. Let's just talk about tubes and buses and. Has it got a tram?
No.
Has it got a tube?
No.
Can you walk?
Yes.
Same as you can in any city in the world.
Yes.
So what makes it from a transit perspective, the greatest city in the world?
From a transit perspective,
yeah,
it's just the greatest city in the world, isn't it? Why take a train or a bus or a tram when you can just wander, meandering through the medieval streets?
Oh, Russ, that sounds almost. Go on the Norwich tourist board. Carry on.
There's flaws in this argument though, because like, what if you struggle with walking, Russ? How are you supposed to get around?
Yeah, Russ.
Use your mobility scooter. Use your mobility scooter.
Right. Let me paint a picture for you. I'll go meandering, right? And because there's no tube or tram, my left toe gets run over by a mobility scooter, and my meandering's over. I'm now one of the people on the mobility scooter.
It's in London, Essex. Better not say London. You're up market now, aren't you?
Hold on. Course mobility scooters exist everywhere.
And have you ever
take away mass transit, then you've got more.
Have you ever had your toe run over?
By a mobility scooter?
By a mobility scooter, yeah.
Not this week, no. Not this week.
Ever.
But no, what I'm saying, Russ, this is this is my thing on this. If I
That's
get
right.
rid of the tube, and the
That's right, you
trams and the
can't go-
boat, so Norwich got
That's
a
why
boat.
you
We've
can't
got a
go to
boat
the
down
city
here.
with push bikes in case somebody runs over you.
Right, we've got a boat. We've got a boat down here. But we've got a million different ways to travel. What are the million ways to travel in the greatest city in the world, Norwich?
But why do you need a million ways to travel, though?
Option.
Places to go.
You've
Time to be there.
got two. Meander, mobility scooter. That's my only two choices.
No, you got bus as well.
Oh, you got the bus.
Have local
You've got the
buses.
bus. Oh, bus, free. We've got three options. What are you going for, Charlotte? Meander, mobility scooter, or bus?
I'm partial to a good meander, but
Yeah, see?
that's only on like warmer
Oh,
days.
don't say that.
Just because.
That is not a choice. You can't like sort of travel by bus all the way.
The trouble with mass transit, like tubes, buses, you don't get to see the true city because you're just whizzing by.
Oh, exactly.
But if
It's
you live there,
Amanda.
no, but if you live there, you've seen the true city, and you're just trying to get
exactly.
to where you need to go.
Exactly. I agree with both of you. And on that note, on that really critical analysis of mass transit in cities that nobody's going to put down in any sort of academic record, let's move on to Charlotte's article. Now, Charlotte, I don't know what your article is this week.
It's about mythical creatures, mythical fire.
Oh, yes. Tell us about mythical creatures.
So I was working on some stuff, and I was thinking, you know how there's loads of different like element creatures, like you've got your different creatures associated with different elements, and I was thinking, why does water have all of these elements of like temptation, stuff like that? Because obviously you've got your water ghosts that tempt people into the water, spirits, elementals, and it's all about.
So the one, I suppose it's not a water ghost, is it? Because they don't live in water. But the one that I always think of when I think of a mythical creature based around water, what do you think of, Russ?
Siren.
Temptation.
So do I. Well, actually, I was thinking about that woman who sits in the fountain in Norwich Town Square.
Well, yeah.
Who sings. Is she a siren?
I'm often
She's like a modern day siren, isn't she? Sorry?
I'm often when they're getting the water with her.
Exactly. She's the Norwich siren.
Exactly.
She's a Norwich siren. Oh, yeah.
But I was thinking like, what kind of other, because water seems to be a thing of temptation. I was like, what would it be?
Give me another Kraken is another mythical creature, isn't it?
It's less about temptation.
I always assume.
No, she's not. But like
what's the Norwich Simon called?
The Norwich Simon. I think his name's Simon.
So the Norwich Siren. The Norwich Simon, the Norwich Siren.
No, Sarah the Siren.
Sarah the Norwich Siren. All right, fair enough. Go on. What other mythical creatures are there?
Like there's the ghost. That's the one that like. There's loads of ghosts that draw. There's loads of like water-connected myths that are all about tempting people into the water and then taking their life.
Okay.
It's really interesting. So you've got like selkies and sirens and stuff like that, and there's a specific ghost as well that does it to a little bit more, but it does it to children. Because the story is that it's the ghost of a grieving mother who is taking children as her own. So that she can.
What mythology is that from?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I just think it was Western.
Is that from the ancient Norfolk mythology that that they still follow up there. Is that what's going on, Russ?
Are you Norfolk bashing this morning?
I'm not. I love Norfolk.
But so I was looking at what, like, Fire's association was big. So I was like, water's very temptation heavy. And I was looking at Fire,
Interesting.
and it's sort of a lot of, you got your Phoenix, which is like rebirth and stuff like that, but also stuff like salamanders. So obviously salamanders are a type of lizard, but they're also the name quite literally means fire lizard, because it's the name of a creature that was literally just a little lizard that was on fire.
So water is about temptation, fire is about rebirth and regeneration.
But also mischief as well.
Mischief, yeah. How about earth and air?
I haven't got to that yet. There might be a future article.
So you just done fire and water. We, in other news, before we get on with the rest of the show, I saw the Dungeons and Dragons movie on Friday.
Oh my god, I watched it today.
She's covering her ears. She's covering her ears.
I won't so bad.
I won't give you any spoilers, I promise.
Is there a movie about Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh, it's brilliant. It is absolutely fantastic.
I heard the Red Wizards are awesome and they're so classic.
Well, I, as somebody who's not massively into D&D, I don't get every single one of the D&D references. Sorry, that's the dog barking in the background. I'm recording this from home. So yeah, the D&D movie. I won't give you any plot spoilers on it. And as you know, Charlotte, I've got a passing interest in D&D because you and Sophie like it, but I don't understand loads about the lore. It's just a really, really, really good film.
Yeah.
Loads of action, super funny, really, really funny.
Games as movies now. I think Mario's got a game.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's funny. Have you seen that Jack Black's got himself a suit that looks like Bowser?
No, I haven't. Is he playing Bowser in it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
But yeah,
Fair
the
enough.
D&D movie. I might go and watch that today because
Give it a watch. Give it a watch. Definitely worth.
I've seen a lot of the trailers and ads, and some of the stuff looks like on point. Like, there's an ad circulating about them talking to a dead person.
Oh, that scene is very Python-esque, very ridiculous, but absolutely hilarious. So
also very true to the nature of the game itself. Is just like, because that's I don't want to get too nerdy, but I'm pretty sure that's like.
Sorry, what did you just say?
I don't want to get too nerdy and technical.
Too late.
But I'm pretty sure like it's supposed to be a representation of the Speak with Dead spell, which is.
I'm already lost.
Yeah.
Right. On that note,
yeah,
go and watch D&D movie. We can review it next week and tell me what you think. Let's move on to our interview. We're not going to do kindness news today because I'm really short of time. So our interview, part 2 of our interview. With Jane Finnerty from Solla, do amazing work making sure that older people get access and information that helps them get the right advice. And we interviewed Jane on that. So enjoy the second part of the interview.
It could be the English as well. I sometimes think that the English have always had a bit of a hang-up about money. I remember reading an article saying we're more likely to talk about our sex lives than our financial lives.
Yeah.
Which I don't believe, but it's an interesting thought, really.
Well, I tend not to delve into the other one. I mean, that's way too sensitive for me. Yeah. But having an open and honest conversation about money to empower them to live their lives they want, I will think I'll stick with that one. And I think you're right. I mean, there's a really amazing. Funny enough, I'm doing a few talks to promote the book at the minute, the Kindness Project book. And there's a really amazing website that I talk about called Gapminder. And it's effectively fact-based data. I'm a bit of a geek, Jane, so these sort
Right.
of stuff really, really resonates with me. But showing that actually the world is getting gradually over time is actually on any measure you want, crime, safety, health. We're all getting a happier, healthier, and leading better lives. But if we turned on the news or we opened our papers, we probably wouldn't see that well,
We wouldn't get up in the
would
morning, would
we?
we? No, we wouldn't.
And
Yeah.
it's as you say, I know, you know, there's issues, and we'll talk about scams in a little while, but actually there are some, like you and hopefully the work we do, there are amazing advisors out there doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, there's lots. The majority are. You know, that's why people come into this profession, because they really do want to help people.
100%, yeah, 100%.
And the most successful ones do that really well.
Yeah, do well, do good is fundamentally important for a lot of the advisors I know, and certainly us. But we can always get better, can't we? So
Yeah.
what do we think we need to do to help and support older people to receive really good support and advice?
I think it's all down to communication. That's not just the way we speak, but also the way we interact, contact. And I do see some great practice with regards to people's websites and the communications they send out. Again, it's sort of humanizing that sort of slick, what I call the navy blue and gold wealth management. It's sort of a bit dated now. I think people want to speak to
Having a relationship, don't they?
a professional that's interested in them, and you know, really gets what it is that they're concerned about. And I think a lot of training that was given when I was first trained was very much about telling somebody something, explaining to something, and not the listening bit. And I think, you know, you need a financial advisor that's just willing to sit there and listen, and you know, so that you don't feel foolish. I think a lot of people feel a little bit foolish that they don't know what they don't know, but that's okay. That's why they got a financial advisor. And I think that's where the lot of reticence comes with older people taking advice. They feel foolish, and a lot of them think, "Well, I don't need it now, do I?" So I think that's why.
I think, yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely. Taking that judgment away and saying we are where we are, and our job as professionals is to help you live the lives you want, is the starting point. But it's interesting when I think about, so I'm 45 now. I've been doing the job since I was sort of early 20s. What I've realised is, particularly since I've had my own business, this job isn't about talking; it's about listening well. That's where it all starts. And I suppose as a profession, we're learning to do that better. Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And I also think that I think that clients still like to be amazed. But so not disturbed by what they don't know, but amazed by what they didn't know. So I was doing a little webinar on Wednesday with a group of advisors, and I said, you know, if you're advising two people in their late 70s and they both had quite serious health conditions, but they've never got a blue badge and they've never claimed attendance allowance,
Yeah, interesting.
you might find them almost £10,000 a year tax free. Nobody's going to be embarrassed about not knowing that. It's going to be, yippee, happy day, where's the forms, what do I do? And it's those smaller things like that. And maybe in, you know, marriage allowance, you know, going back, I think it's 4 or 5 years, finding somebody £1,000, £1,200, all those smaller things, or council tax discount. You know, if there's only one living there or one lives downstairs, it's interesting how there's many things that people don't know, but they're very happy to know.
So well, if somebody said to you, "I'm going to give you another £10,000 a year in allowances," you'd probably take it, wouldn't you?
You would say, really? So yeah, let's have a look at that.
Yeah.
So those sort of prepared to be amazed moments, I think, are better than prepared to be very disappointed. You failed miserably, and oh, you should have done that a long time ago. It's never too late, isn't it?
Yeah,
To
100%.
your powers of
You
attorney.
are where you are, and
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
just all
exactly,
incrementally get better,
exactly.
can't
Yeah,
we?
move
That's
forward.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, I'm giving you a gift now, Jane. I'm handing you
Oh,
a Harry Potter
oh.
style magic wand.
Okay.
And you can make any change you want to
Yeah.
any aspect of the the way that older people receive advice, or the financial planning profession. What would be the one big thing that you'd change?
I'd make it a lot more attractive to younger people. I think we've not done a very good job in explaining, over the years to younger people, this is a fabulous thing to do. You change people's lives.
Yeah.
It's like being a doctor in many ways. It can improve somebody's well-being, their mental health. But we do find it a challenge to get quality young people to come into the profession.
So I was having this conversation earlier this week, funny enough, with another financial planning business owner. And I don't know how you got into the financial planning, but I fell into it by accident and then decided to make it my career. And we were saying that there's a influx of people into law and accountancy, and the top four accountancy firms are always sort of oversubscribed on their graduate schemes and things like that. And we were trying to work out why that isn't the case with financial planning. And I suppose the conclusion we came to is that as a profession, we're probably still not as mature as law or accountancy. Do you think it's just going to be time that changes the influx, or what do you think the big factors are going to
Yeah,
be?
it's exactly that. It's not
Mm.
that mature. So if you think about, we had to get far more qualified, and the ongoing qualifications, continuing professional development, it's way in excess of a lot of the other professions. But that has just really been in the last 25, 30 years. So we're just behind the curve. And of course, when you say I'm a solicitor, and my colleague Tishanafan would say this because she is a barrister, she'd say, oh, people say that's good. Oh, you must be clever. If you say even chartered financial planner, people have no idea what that is. They think, oh, chartered sounds good, but what's a financial planner? So it's a big education piece. We're just a bit behind
Yeah,
the curve, but we will catch up.
but my dad's proud, so that's good.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm proud of all
my
our
dad,
advisors.
my dad likes the fact that I'm a fellow and chartered
Yeah,
financial planner,
yeah.
so we'll let him have that one.
Really, yeah, and so yeah, and we're proud of all our advisors in Solla and what they achieve. And just on that, Solar advisors can now use their Solar accreditation towards fellowship of the chartered.
Yeah, it's really
So it's
really
all,
important.
yeah, all pulls together, and we are getting there. We are
Yeah,
getting.
we are. It
It's
just
just a
takes some time,
maturity thing.
but
Yeah.
encouraging younger people, but also I think the interesting thing, and the younger people I get to talk to about this, is there is a desire and a drive for younger people. And I talked to my older daughter, who's now 19, to make positive change in the world. And actually, as a financial planner, people don't perceive, as you said, the positive impact you can have on somebody's life.
Well,
But I love it when I get to say, you're never going to run out of money again, or you
lovely,
can live the life you
fantastic.
want. Yeah, or we're not there yet, but here's a clear plan to get there. It's just, yeah, it's an absolute honour to do what we do, I think.
Yes, it is.
However, there are challenges that older people face, particularly when it comes to getting the right advice. What do you think they are, and what tips would you share to help older people make sure they're making good decisions?
Yeah, I think I don't want to state the government at the moment because they've got enough going on. There's not enough made of the importance of taking advice. And so I think a lot of people sort of 50, 55 plus, especially the professional classes, they don't actually think they need to. And they
Yeah.
seem to be horrified sometimes that this is a paid for thing, even if they're a professional as well that gets paid for what they do. So I think it's important that we do a lot more as a profession and with the help of the government to get people to realise that by taking good advice regularly, not just a one-off, so many of the risks you can mitigate in your life. I don't think people realise. They kind of do, but they don't like to talk about what could happen, and how you can protect yourself against.
But that's the other thing. I mean, as unscrupulous individuals and technology is becoming more sophisticated, I think working with a professional advisor helps with that. I mean, as I said at the start of this interview, I had a client who came in and said, "I'm not sure about this script. Can you check this out for me?" And we found out it was definitely dodgy, for want of a better phrase, and guided him away from it. And having a professional partner to help you do that, I think, is really important. I suppose one thing I would add, Jane, it's an interesting one. I think really well educated clients are better clients because we can have a really sort of deep conversation with them, and there is a lot of free resources available out there for people to do their own due diligence and do their own research. To empower them with the knowledge, because as you say, an advisor's job isn't to tell somebody what to do; it's to work in partnership with them to make sure they're making the right decisions.
Yeah.
Talk to me about what advisors can do to make sure. And I think what I've got from this interview certainly is that broader knowledge of some of the benefits that we should be looking at, like blue badges and like sort of disability allowances. But what can advisors do to support older people in a better way?
I think it comes back to communications. People need to know who you are and why you do what you do. So it's that personalisation of the service that you're going to offer. You need to know a bit more about why it should be you that they're dealing with. But in my experience, very often people genuinely don't know why they need to take any advice. They just
it's education,
don't
right?
get it. They don't. They get overwhelmed by how huge it's going to be. So I think advisors approaching it in an almost phases or steps, gentle steps way is good, and just sort of calls to action. So a lot of you're talking about there's a lot of resources, and I was speaking to a government sort of provider of information advice yesterday. I said, if there is not a call to action or a nudge that says, if you don't do this in the next 3 months, all this chat's going to be out of date. You have to do it all again. So having some call to action saying, do you know what, let's just get this done, but not making it onerous, making it sort of in steps, one step at a time, a bit like you were saying. We've got.
I mean, that's certainly the benefit of working with an advisor, isn't it? Because one of the things that I think certainly we've done with our clients is say, ultimately the choice is yours, but if we want to achieve the plan, we do need to take action on it. And it's an interesting one. Yeah, I think information overload is a challenge that we all face, particularly when it comes to money. It's really interesting. So tell us a little bit about where we can find more information about the amazing work you do.
Thank you.
And if you're a consumer, where do you access the work Solla does? And if you're an advisor, where do you access the work Solla does?
So a lot of people start with some of the consumer bodies like Which or perhaps Money Helper, which is the government body online.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they might nip into one of the providers, one of the providers of these products, and very often, or even the local authority. And there will be links on all of these websites and in the magazines to the work that we do. We're very often in the broadsheets at the weekend, saying if you want trusted, careful, considered advice, contact a member of the society. Or you can come to our website, give us a call. So I don't know if you want me to say it. It's
Please do. Please share.
It's a bit long. Society of Later Life Advisors, and that's ers.co.uk. Or just put in Solla into the Google search engine. You sometimes get solar fins and things come up, but it's there.
So, I mean, solar panels would be
it's
would be a bit of a
SOLLA. So
yeah, that's great. So yeah, and I'd certainly recommend we'll make sure that when the podcast goes out, we've got all of that on the show notes, and people can find you. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure. Really great chatting with you, Chris. And
I look forward to catching up soon. Yeah. Cheers, Jane.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
So that was part 2 of the interview. Now we need to move on to the world famous joke of the week. Charlotte, take it away.
Oh damn! Why don't you guys riff while I find joke of the week? Because
you got a joke, Russ. Because our joke telling last week went really well, didn't it?
I haven't got a joke this week.
Oh, right. That's drifting over then.
I'm all out of jokes.
Why weren't you better prepared, Charlotte? You knew joke of the week comes up every week.
This is correct.
Because it's 9 a.m. Because it's 9 a.m.
Right, 9 a.m. is when normal people actually start work. Come on. Let's get this up.
I've been up since 6.
Exactly. Russ?
Okay. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
No bell.
No bell who?
No bell. That's why I knocked. I got Russ.
You got Russ. You didn't get me on that one.
Fine,
Have a lovely day, and we'll see you on the Kindness Project soon. Bye.
Bye.